Dear scholars and learners, I again continue explaining the figure of speech hyperbole through its examples. Now, its next example is 10,000 saw I at a glance. 10,000 people or 10,000 of some things I saw at a time. Again, the poet makes overstatement about the great number of people at a time I saw. So we can say that in this sentence the poet has used the figure of his speech hyperbole. Next example, they build the nation's pillars deep and lift them to the sky. Here, the poet says that they build the pillars of the nation extremely deep and extremely high, sky high. Again, in this sentence, the poet exaggerates the statement about the high pillar of the nation. The pillar of the nation is built up to the great depth and up to the great height. This is the simple meaning of the sentence. But the poet has exaggerated it by saying that they built the nation's pillars deep and lift them to the sky. In this way, in order to make this statement emphatic and impressive, the poet exaggerates the statement about the nation's pillars, about its depth and height. On this basis, we can say that in this sentence, the poet has used the figure of his speech, hyperbole. The next example is Belinda smiled and all the world was gay. This line has been selected from the long poem Rape of the Lock composed by Alexander Pope. Here, in this line, the poet says that Belinda is the character in the poem. She is dancing in a club, and while dancing, she smiled. To see her smiling, the people looking at her became very happy. They felt overjoyed to see her dancing with a smile on her face. But the poet exaggerates this statement to make it impressive and emphatic by saying that Belinda smiled and all the world was gay. According to the poet, in this sentence, Belinda was dancing in the club, but the people of the entire world, the people of the whole world, became very happy, felt overjoyed to see Belinda dancing and smiling. Again, this happening has been exaggerated or overstated. So, in this sentence, the poet has used the figure of his speech, hyperbole. Next example is, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. This line has been selected from the play entitled Macbeth, written by one of the greatest dramatists of the world, William Shakespeare. Here, Shakespeare says that when Macbeth killed King Duncan and came out, his hands were blood stained. He wanted to wash the blood stains on his hand, but at the same time, his wife, Lady Macbeth, says, "You cannot remove the blood stains from your hand. Even your hand cannot be scented